Good evening, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight we have episode 15 of Horror on the Orient Express, with yours truly as the GM. Jeff, would you be so kind as to provide us with a recap this evening?
Sure. Our last episode started off with our investigators aboard the Orient Express, and they were reading through a journal recovered from Professor Smythe. And as a fun way to review the journal and its contents, we, the players, were able to make up some new characters. It's set in 1893 and in London. Our new characters were introduced as Matilda, Marcus, and Captain Leopold Evans. We're part of the Blue Rose Club, a social group that gathers to discuss all things worldly and spiritually. As we're sitting in a local cafe, we get a notice from Smythe to come quickly to an address in London. We see Smythe and two men in this small room. One is a doctor and one man on the bed wearing a fez hat. His name is Matthew Pook. Pook looks prematurely aged and has been drugged. What is also unusual is that the fez hat has been fused to Pook's head. As we're inspecting the odd hat and Pook, things take a turn for the worse, and the lights go out. We manage to light a lighter and see a bluish-black creature attacking the doctor. We try to rescue the doctor, but it has been futile. Captain Leopold does manage to shoot the beast, which kills it. When the lights are returned and the hat was dislodged on the floor, and Pook lays dead on the bed, looking like a man again, and not a beast with tentacles. The investigators take the fez and carefully wrap it and leave the premises quickly and head back to Smythe's office back at Oxford. They inspect the fez and see some odd writing on the hat. Actually, it's not exactly on the hat, but looks to be just under the fabric, and it appears to swirl and move and change. It looks similar to hieroglyphs. Smythe returns and is set on destroying the hat. He wants to contact a person named Demir in Constantinople. He thinks Demir knows more about the hat. We learned that this man named Menkoff, who has been trying to steal the hat, though we don't know why. The next morning we meet Smythe, and he tells us he attempted to destroy the fez, but had no luck. The hat would not burn. When cut, it healed itself. We received a telegram from Demir, and he tells us it's impossible to destroy the hat, and under no circumstances should we wear the hat. He recommends that we bring the hat to him in Constantinople, and he will meet us at Circechi train station. We decide we'll split up, and the captain will try to learn more about Pook by trying to retrace his steps over the past couple of days. The captain makes his way to Pook's dorm room and finds a journal. We learn a bit of background on what happened in regards to Menkoff. While at the cafe, we learn from a newspaper article that a local man who is a hat collector, specifically fezes, was murdered. Matilda and Marcus pair up and head back to the room they were in last night in the chance that there might be another clue or two. They did find an address. After lunch, the investigators head over to the address. After speaking to a neighbor, they learn the address belonged to a man named Bentley. After breaking in the door, we learn that Bentley Burnham seems to be investigating us, among other people as well. There is a folder on the desk and has photos of us, and along with notes of us as to our comings and goings. Bentley might be a reporter from a small town newspaper. Next, we went over to the house of the fez collector. The captain was able to gain us access into the house in spite of it being a crime scene. We didn't gain a lot of new information there, but there was some history regarding the fez hat and that it was a rare collectible item. We find a letter from Mr. Leeds, and he is looking for the book The Whispering Fez and has offered £100. The book is the only thing missing from the collector's house. The next day we visit the library to see if we can learn more about the fez. And sure enough, there are some mentions of it. We discovered a spell, actually, that will protect the wearer of the fez from its degenerative negative effects, with a cost of 5 POW to grant 1 day's protection to the wearer of the fez. And next, I believe we're getting ready to board a train that's due to leave on Wednesday morning. And that brings us up to date.
Excellent. So it's still Tuesday, and you are in London. And you've spent all day at the library compiling information on what you can on the Fez, and you've actually put together a little tome of your own with information in it, which we went over last time. So what would you guys like to do?
Can we take a minute and be introduced to Riley's character?
Well, that's I texted. You guys got to go find. Decide to bring him along.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. Sorry.
Since he wasn't with your group to begin with, but
okay,
he is an integral part of your group. Well, we'll find him at the university probably.
So I'll suggest that we should head back to the university, see if Smythe has any new information.
Okay.
And, we can move on from there.
Okay. Smythe is in his office and he's looking.
Sorry, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Before we leave the library, is it possible to confirm if that Bentley guy is from a legitimate newspaper?
How would you do that?
I'm thinking the library would have various newspapers from around the area. I don't think they had microphone back then, but
yeah, that makes sense. Do a luck roll.
Luck. 50. Whew. 09.
09. Let's see.
I seem to start these games out with a bang.
I'm looking really quickly. What was the name of the newspaper?
I didn't write that down, did I?
I think it was like the
Birmingham
Daily Post. Yep, there it is.
Birmingham Daily Post. And you passed. You find a couple of issues of the Birmingham Post, perhaps the last couple of weeks. It's not a big newspaper. It's a little newspaper.
I guess there would be like contact information, like if we were to try to call them, maybe.
There is contact information.
Okay.
Do we know if there's any sort of issues or columns written by our guy?
You can take some time and look through and see if you see anything written by him.
Sure.
Good idea.
Go ahead and do a spot hidden.
And I make that.
Okay. After thoroughly looking through the few issues that are there, you're not reading them. You're just going through and looking at the authors of each thing. You find nothing written by Bentley.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
He could be a freelancer.
I don't know why, but I just don't trust the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think, looking at the neighborhood that he lived in, I'm thinking that maybe he was trying to get a job there and trying to come up with something juicy or whatever to put into the papers and maybe get a job with Birmingham.
You do find a phone number for Birmingham. Yeah.
So then maybe we should call them.
Yeah, let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a phone in the library, and it's the middle of the day, so very likely you'll be able to get a hold of somebody. So that's what you're going to do?
But how about the captain take that since he has the authoritative voice?
Okay.
Yeah. And if you do get a hold of him, you could tell him that we're looking to do an interview with him. You know.
Sure. Okay. So I take it. I take the number, and I guess let's find a call box.
Wait,
Well,
you mean to let him know that we know that he's investigating us?
I was going to lie.
Okay.
I was going to lie and tell him, like Matilda said, maybe we should just say like, oh, we're here for an interview or something like that. We want to be interviewed, something, blah blah blah. Just so it's just a lie. I'm just saying
Yeah, we could
a lie.
do something to the effect of, hey, our little group, we want to get a little press, and we want to start off with this small newspaper, make it big or something like that. But when you call and ask for him, so that and tell him that we can meet up somewhere in a cafe or something like that.
Okay.
To interview.
So do we want to go talk to Professor Nicholas first and get everyone?
Yeah, we can do that. I'm pretty sure that he's with Smythe.
Okay. Then I say that I feel like we should get the professor first.
Yeah.
Having 4 of us instead of 3 of us.
What I'm saying here is like you can call him now and set up an interview for a specific time today. Then we can head over to the university. Matter of fact, we can have him come over to the university. That way, he doesn't feel like he's walking into a trap or like we're going to try to off him or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. Sure, so so let's go to a call box and I'll tell them, hey, the Blue Rose Society, we wanna have a little talk. We wanna have a talk. Send this specific reporter, whose name I have now forgotten again.
Benjamin Bentley.
Benjamin Bentley.
Burnham.
God, see?
Bentley
Burnham. That's what his name is.
Bentley Burnham. Too many B's.
Bentley Burnham from Birmingham.
Okay. Bentley Burnham. Let's go talk to Bentley Burnham. Okay, so with the number in hand, can I go to a call box? Is there one nearby?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a phone in the library.
Phone in the library that you can use.
Right.
All right.
I use that one.
The phone rings. Brrr, brrr. What was it called? The Birmingham.
Birmingham Daily Post.
Birmingham Daily Post. This is John.
Yes, hello. My name is Captain Leopold Evans. Who am I speaking with? John? Hello there, John. I'm here to talk to you about a possible interview with the Blue Rose Society. We've gotten several.
Uh-oh. He's probably just talking away, and he doesn't realize that.
Your call has been disconnected.
Yeah.
Please try again.
Sorry, we completely lost you, Tom.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you said, we'd like to... And you were frozen. We haven't heard anything since
Google Hangouts literally just sent me, your network connection is experiencing difficulties.
Oh, wow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say exactly what I said again, verbatim, despite it sounding ridiculous.
Right.
We're calling back because we've received several calls for a possible interview with the Blue Rose Society. We're them, and we're just here to set up this interview at Oxford with one of your reporters.
Do you know which reporter wanted to talk to you?
Bentley Burnham from Birmingham.
How do you spell that last name?
Burnham.
Hold on just one second. There's a few minutes of pause.
Now, we know that this newspaper is probably only 2 people, so...
The voice comes back a few minutes later and says, we don't have any reporters by that name. Are you sure you got the name right?
I looked at the group with wide eyes. And I say, why, yes, this is who we've spoken to. Are you sure that there's no one by that name there?
Well, I just started working here not too long ago, but I just talked to the editor, and he says we've got four reporters, none of which are named Bentley Burnham.
Ask them if they're on assignment in London.
Is there any reporter who's on assignment in London currently? Because we were in contact with the Bentley Burnham.
Okay, well, let me ask.
I
I'll
roll?
see. I'll see.
Okay,
A
so
couple
don't
more
roll.
minutes go by. Yeah, a couple more minutes go by, and he comes back and he says, "No, we don't have anybody out there. That's quite a distance to travel. We're like 150 miles from London."
So then, why would someone say that they are a part of your organization?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, John. And I hope you have a very good day.
Thank you very much. You too.
And I hang up and I look back to the group and I say they're lying. I'm a paranoid weirdo.
Are they
Shell-shocked.
lying or he was lying?
He was lying, clearly. Clearly there's a Bentley Burnham and they just don't want us to know.
Well, here's the thing. Perhaps he faked his credentials to get in to places that he can't possibly get in on his own. That's an option.
Definitely. Or, although I don't know how far the conspiracy goes, but maybe the newspaper's in on it too.
That could be it.
I point to Marcus and I say, that could be it. That's what it is.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions.
It goes all the way to the top.
But that's beside the point. We have other business to take care of. Let's head back to Smythe and see what he's found.
Okay.
Is that what you can do? Okay. So you travel back across town, back to Oxford, and you head up to Professor Smythe's office, and he's in there filling Professor Weiss in on what's going on. And when he sees you, he's like, "Oh, good, you've arrived." He says, "I believe Professor Weiss is going to join you."
Oh, that's very good. It's good to see you again.
As you know, he's a mathematics professor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a professor of mathematics, but he's highly interested in this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do we all know him from the Blue Rose?
Yeah, you all know him.
Okay.
So Matilda comes up and she'll kiss him on each cheek and says, "Oh, it's great to see you again.
Yeah. As always.
I'm glad that you're going to be joining us. You have such handsome company." No, and she says that, and she looks at the other two, and she says, "Oh, that's nothing against you two. You two are handsome gentlemen as well, but."
I don't know, Matilda. I don't remember the last time you gave me 2 kisses on the cheek.
I do that with
It's fine. I'm an intimidating fellow.
With the compliment.
Professor, and she turns to Smythe and she says, "Have you discovered anything new?"
Nothing new, but you'll be leaving tomorrow, yes?
That's right.
As far as I know, everything is set up. You'll be meeting Baron von Hoffler in Vienna, and he might be able to shed some light on some of this also. He's a noted occultist and an expert in languages.
And, sorry, could you remind me again? So his interest in helping us is...
Well, he's one of us. You could say he's an extended member of the Blue Rose Society. He's often funded us on things, and he, like myself, he's very interested in occult matters and has studied them extensively for many, many years.
Does he have prior knowledge to the Fez hat specifically, or just...
I believe he might, because he seemed very excited in the hell am I trying to think of? Telegram that I sent him.
Excellent.
He's very interested in things that have a Middle Eastern, Turkish sort of bent to them, so he was quite eager.
Also, since the gang's all here, I'd like to discuss what we found in the library of this supposed spell. What do you all think of this?
I think it's highly dangerous and we shouldn't use it unless absolutely necessary.
I have to agree with the captain here. Magic shouldn't be trifled with.
No, that's quite true. Magic is extremely dangerous. It taps into energies and powers that we don't understand at all.
And I think I will be up front and say I'm not comfortable with that at all.
I think we share your sentiments. However,
as the bard says, there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
I of course paraphrased, but the meaning is the same. So, what would you guys like to do other than?
Well, we're off tomorrow morning. What time of day is it?
It's now afternoon, late afternoon.
Okay. I say that we turn in early tonight and get an early start.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything we need to follow up on.
Yeah, we've kind of exhausted all of our leads for right now in London.
I will tell Smythe about Burnham, though. I'll let him know that he has a dossier on us all, basically, on the Blue Rose. So
that seems rather disturbing, although I suppose we have made a little bit of a name for ourselves in London, so perhaps a little bit of celebrity is not so unusual for us.
I mean, we're in the day and age where superstition and magic and all that can be kind of laughed at.
Indeed.
A Renaissance age where those type of beliefs aren't taken as seriously. So, I mean, there's no real harm in him as far as the public goes. The only other issue I have is if other people who know about the things that we know about might be onto us.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, especially
this Mencalf fellow, whoever he turns out to be.
Mm-hmm. So I think that when we're traveling, we should try to keep a low profile, as low as possible.
Well, that'll be a little tricky on a train.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what I mean is not draw any attention to ourselves. There are plenty of people on a train. But we shouldn't draw unnecessary attention to ourselves.
No, I suppose not. All right. Do you guys want to formulate a plan of action, or what you want to go over anything before you go to bed and get up the next day?
That's really up to you three. Like I said, I feel like we've kind of exhausted all of our leads. I'm interested in figuring out, as my phone goes off, real life. I'm interested in knowing more about why this guy, this Bentley Burnham, is using either a fake name or is saying that he works with this group. Like, I'm really confused about that.
Right now, it's one thing that we can't really focus on right now. I mean, we can get into that, but if that's the case, then we'll be delayed in our mission here.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's compelling to me enough. How my face is gone. It's compelling enough to me, but I also feel like there's nothing really more that we can do with that. I wish that we had more. I really do. But like I said, it's up to you guys what we should do next.
Well, I turned to Smythe and I asked him, do you think you can have somebody on this particular assignment just to figure out who this guy is, and if you find out, you can perhaps send us a telegram.
All right, if you think that's important, of course.
Yeah, because he might have other agents outside of London, and one of our people can figure out who he is and pretty much tell us if there are other people like him who are tailing us. That way we can have a good lookout.
Not to mention Mencalf himself, because Birmingham might just be hired by Minecraft.
Yeah, that might be the case as well.
What would make you say that?
Just because the connection between the Fez hat and our occult background.
I mean, think about it this way: if put yourself in the shoes of Mencalf. If you go into a country or you're looking for a particular item of magic, you're going to want to know who else might be interested in that, and anybody who's dealing in the occult matters, you'll want to keep an eye out on.
I think that you guys may have forgotten something. I wouldn't normally remind you, but you recall that there was a pad of paper in the room where the monster thing had, and
right. That's how we found out who Burnham is.
Right. So why would his name be written on a pad in that room? If
wasn't that Minecraft's room?
Yeah, well, there was a Mr. Leeds, wasn't there?
Right. That could be also, yeah.
And Thomas suspected last episode that Mencalf and Leeds might be the same person.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Do we want to follow up on that?
Well, you kind of already did, didn't you? You went back.
I mean,
you went back there, and the.
Well, that would explain a lot then. I mean, the men in the Fez, when we first approached the apartment where Pook was, there was a man in a Fez that was out in the alleyway that spotted us, and then disappeared in the dark. I'm thinking, I mean, he spotted us, so he must have been familiar with us.
Minecraft, I think, was the one who was the rich guy who wore a top hat.
Yeah, that's Leeds as well.
Right, okay.
So, that mystery is solved, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So is that it? We'll say.
So now we have to keep our eyes out for other people. So I'll say this while we're traveling, just keep your eyes out and open for anybody who might be hanging around. Someone who might look similar to somebody else. For example, I mean, people around in London, they wear fezzes, but if we happen to see multiple people in the same area that we tend to travel, and they're wearing a fez or something like that, or if we see the same gentleman or same group of gentlemen following us or tailing us, that might just give us an indication that we're being followed, and we could probably dispatch them quickly.
Now, I'll assume that you don't have much else to do other than eat dinner, go home, get ready for tomorrow for your trip. However, do you want to make any preparations before you go on your trip? Any, make any purchases, anything that you need before you go?
How long can we expect to be gone, roughly?
Well, it's like a 4 or 5 day trip.
Just to get there, and then however long that'll take while we're there. So 2 weeks, and then a week to return, possibly.
You're not really planning on stopping anywhere, because it's not like the Orient Express, the other story, because that you're stopping in most of the towns. Here, you're just going directly.
I'm going to pick up a sword cane.
Nice.
Okay.
I was going to say threaded cane, but I don't think those exist really.
A what?
A threaded cane. It basically turns into sort of like a chain whip type of a deal.
I don't think this is Bloodborne.
You want some ninja stars to go with that?
No, a sword cane will be, and I mean, like I'll walk around with it, especially in public, and my movements might be slightly slow. I'm feigning like I'm just I need the cane to walk or something like that, but I'll use it for protection, and it's a lot quieter than a pistol.
Well, do a luck roll.
Sure. Dice don't fail me now. And I think the dice failed me. Yep.
Okay.
The
thing is that you do find a couple of those in some shops.
Okay.
They're very masculine. They're men's canes. So it's up to you whether.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm Matilda. Who cares?
It'll look conspicuous if you've got a man's cane. But that's up to you.
I picture Matilda being like 5'2", and the cane is like 5'4".
It's like Gandalf's staff. Yeah. She has to kind of do this to get the
sword staff.
No, she's 5'5". Yeah, so I'll get it anyway. I don't care about looking completely, inconspicuous, but.
Well, run. Okay, you find it. It doesn't look. You can say it was my father's, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's go down the list real quick. And how are you armed, each of you, if you are armed, or if you want to arm yourselves? So we got sword, cane.
I've got my traditional.
I'm bringing.
I've got the traditional.
What's traditional?
The traditional army saber, the revolver, and then the 12 gauge. That's what I've got with me right now.
Okay.
Other than that, my inventory's pretty bare. I've just got I've got all of my traveling equipment, but that's I don't have like lockpicks or anything like that. I'm not really equipped to do any of that.
Okay.
I've got a rather hefty first aid kit, but.
Okay.
But yeah, that's me. What about Jeff? Has a blackjack, right?
I have a blackjack now at your guys' encouragement. I have my cross necklace that I carry with me. And since we're going on the trip, I'm going to bring my pocket Bible.
They made those.
You're one of those people who hit people with your Bible, aren't you?
No, it's a range weapon. He's gonna throw it.
Yeah, you throw
and it
the
has
Bible.
1d2 damage.
It kills demonic creatures. All right, Riley? Oh, we can't hear you, Riley.
Can't hear you.
No. Cute little muffin top.
Obviously, he can hear us.
He's probably been talking this whole time, and we had no idea.
No. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Wait, now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. You could just hear me say. Okay, great.
Wow, that was actually perfect timing, because you said you didn't hear me say.
Oh God! God damn it! What the fuck?
We heard you
Can
say
you hear
that.
me?
Yeah, we heard you say that.
Okay.
You said goddamn fuck off. Why? Yeah.
Those words come through, yeah.
How, now? Or
Yeah. You're lagging a little bit.
You're fine, Riley.
I'm armed with my weight, so
Oh.
You're armed with your what?
wit.
Oh, your wit.
Doesn't have the same
With my
impact
brain.
every time you say it.
Oh, you've got the Batman thing. You've got the brains, but
Yeah.
no superpower.
Yeah,
No superpower.
he's like Batman, but not Batman.
So so you're not going to arm yourself at all? These are dangerous people.
Okay.
Figured that out. They've probably showed you the hat. Then probably jokingly said, "Why don't you touch it and see what you think?"
Now, Smythe is keeping the hat, correct?
What's that?
Smythe, he's keeping the hat, right?
No, you're taking it to Constantinople to have Demir destroy it.
Right. Okay, thank you.
It's in a hat box that's pink and chocolate colored.
Okay.
And I'll take like a simple handgun thing.
The pistol?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. I'm taking my pistol, my sword cane, as well as my rifle. Just
Okay.
I have to ask what the, usually the canes have some sort of a decorative feature at the top. So
Yeah.
being a masculine cane, what would be your decoration wing?
I'll say that since I'm from Italy, and I would say that my father traveled around, a whole lot. He went to India, he went to Pakistan, he visited the Asias. I'll say that the cane is topped with a brass cobra.
Well, actually, you went out shopping for that, so there was only two choices.
Okay, well, I mean, hey, you're the GM, so you let me know.
One looks kind of like a ram's horn.
Okay,
And the other one kind of looks like a bull.
I'll go with the ram's horn.
Okay. All right. So, you guys sleep that evening, and everything is fine. And the next morning, you get up bright and early, and you head to the train station. All of your stuff is transferred for you, of course. That's all part of the beauty. Now, you are in London. You're going to travel to Kent. I'm sorry, not Kent. You're going to travel to Dover via train, and that's not the Orient Express yet. It's sort of part of the system, but it's not the train that you're going to get onto. You're going to travel to Dover, where you're going to get on a steamer. Steamer's going to take you across the English Channel. You're going to get on a train in Calais, and that's going to take you to Chalon-sur-Marne, where your car will be attached to the Orient Express going all the way through. The Orient Express takes a different route than it does in 1923.
Okay.
In 1923, there is a tunnel going through the mountains so that you could go directly to Lausanne. In this case, you're going up north. You're going through Germany, Vienna, Stuttgart, and so forth, and over that way. There are a few people getting on the train to Dover. Just various men and women. Not all of them, of course, going where you're going, because they might just be going to Dover.
Okay.
Some of them don't look wealthy. They look, maybe farmers and stuff like that, going from London to Dover. Maybe not farmers, but tradesmen and stuff like that.
Okay.
The trip through through the countryside of Kent to Dover. It's a pleasant ride. You left at 10 a.m. and you arrive about an hour later in Dover. And the steamer, you're there for maybe a half an hour before the steamer is getting ready to leave. There aren't too many people on the steamer crossing the channel at the moment. A couple of ladies that are together on one side. Think of it kind of as a ferry that's going across the English Channel. There's, a young gentleman over there, and there's a couple of old people over there, and nothing really significant. Do a spot hidden for me. All of you can.
All of us?
Yeah.
I make mine.
I make mine.
Do any of you make a hard roll?
No.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Because you are feeling suspicious, you notice one young man. He looks like he's maybe in his late 20s. He's not dressed in fancy clothes, but he's fairly well dressed. He's kind of stocky, and he's obviously got some muscle on him. There's a moment when, as you're traveling, you see him, and you see him a couple times, like, as you're walking around, just stretching your legs. You notice at one point that he's, sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he sort of glances up and sees you, and quite noticeably flicks his cigarette into the water and walks the other direction. And at the first time it happens, it doesn't seem suspicious, but the second time it happens, it definitely catches your notice that he's maybe avoiding you. Maybe he doesn't like the look of you. I don't know. You don't really particularly care for the look of him.
Okay. I'll bring it to the attention of the gentleman I'm traveling with.
Okay.
And I mean, just for the record, when I'm on the Orient Express, or if I'm traveling, I'm dressed, like a noble, like an aristocrat. But like when we're actually out and about doing our thing, I'll dress more or less like a man. I'll wear pants and,
Sure.
Yeah. So, something more suitable for
traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But right now, I look like, I have the, big hat and the big flowing gown and everything like that, and I happen to see this man, and I don't like the look of him, so I'll tell the others about this guy, and I'll point him out every time, like while we're on the steamer. I'll point him out and I'll say, get a look at this guy. And I'll do it inconspicuously. Like I'll say, don't look now, but this guy over here has been, every time I've come out, he's been like looking my way, and every time I came out, he would flick his cigarette and just walk away, and I think this guy's watching us. So let's keep an eye out on this guy.
All right. So, the boat crosses the channel, and you arrive in Calais, which is the port city in France, at about 1:40 in the afternoon. From there, let's see. You're going to be there, and now is when you're actually going to board the cars that will be attached to the Orient Express eventually. You're going to take the train from here from Calais to Chalon-sur-Marne, and that's actually quite a few hours. You should be hooked up to the Orient Express about 10:26 that evening.
Okay.
So this is fairly.
Do we notice if the guy is on our car, or can we just get off and sort of walk
well,
away?
once you get off, he seems to you notice him just sort of walk in another direction. So
Okay.
you don't think that he will be getting on the train.
Now, how was he dressed? Like, did he have anything else?
If you were to assess his clothes, you'd say that he definitely wasn't wealthy. He was just probably working class.
Okay. But no,
Kind of probably a tweed suit, but not a really expensive or nice tweed suit.
okay. And he was English, or he looked English?
I don't know what his English looked like.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of had that British air about him.
Okay. Did he look like he came from sort of the poorer areas of London, or
Well, like I say, middle class. I wouldn't say
middle class? Okay.
he didn't
I mean,
look disheveled or
what?
anything.
Okay, because what I'm actually looking at is his demeanor, because you have upper class, middle class, and sort of lower class, and sort of the way that they act. Like if you have a lower class guy who throws on a suit, he still kind of appears to be lower class, trying to be upper class.
Do a psychology roll.
Okay. Do I have psychology? Yes, I do. I make it.
Okay. He oddly struck you as being like a hired thug.
I see.
The kind of a person that you'd expect to be a hired thug. He's only well dressed maybe because he's in the pay of somebody else, maybe.
Okay. All right.
And it definitely sticks in your head.
Okay.
All right. You actually have a couple of hours before you board your train for Chalon-sur-Marne. Which, if you want, you could just get on. I mean, the train is being loaded with cargo and stuff like that. You could probably get on board the train and maybe even have lunch on the train before it even leaves.
Okay. I will tell the rest of my companions, my assessments of that particular gentleman. It looks like he walked off, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of them. I mean, like, I might sound a bit paranoid right now, but I like to err on the side of caution. So if you happen to see somebody that seems out of place, just keep an eye out on them.
I wonder if we could, without jeopardizing our chance of actually getting on the train, like wait until the last possible minute and then run and catch our train. So like if somebody was following us, they might not catch the train.
I mean, that's an idea, but that is cutting it a bit close too, because we'll actually have to catch a train, or we'll have to wait for the next one, which leaves us out in the open.
Like our baggage and everything is like we're not attached to that, right? That's already like handled separately, and that would be on the train. So
Which
basically,
means
like we could.
our equipment is also separated from us too.
Mhm.
Right.
So something happens, and
You also have specific tickets for this train.
Right.
The next one isn't for like a half a week.
But I mean, like you were saying, like instead of getting on the train and eating lunch, we could just sit in the lobby, and then when they do
yeah,
last
When
call,
there's cafes around, you could sit at a cafe, and you don't have to. They're going to do the whistle blow and the ring the bells.
they'll let us know.
right. Basically, like if we're hurrying to catch the train, we would notice if somebody else was hurrying to catch it with us.
But
To be honest, it's the Orient Express. They might even notice that you hadn't gotten on board yet and delay the train for a few minutes while they're
Right. But then
trying
if
to
that's
find
the case, then somebody else who has a ticket for that train the train will also be delayed for them. So, and we're assuming that other people aren't just getting on board and having lunch on the train.
yeah,
So,
you can't get on the train without a ticket. So
right.
I suppose you could get on the train, but you're going to be found out almost immediately and
Yeah.
to leave.
Unless they disguise themselves as workers on the train.
Yeah,
But
that would be really tricky because on the Orient Express they're all in those beautiful blue and gold uniforms. You'd have to find a blue and gold uniform.
yeah, or find
And
something.
one that fit you really well, because if it didn't fit you really well, they'd be like, "What the hell?" You know.
Right. But I mean, stranger things have happened. So
Sure. And people are very trusting, so there's ways that you could get around it. Especially that they're British, so well, actually they're French. But
the other thing too is that a lot of us, sort of the upper class, because the Orient Express is for the upper class. Some of us won't even really notice the hired help. And with everything being so busy, one or two people can slip in unnoticed. And I mean, eventually you'll find some sort of uniform that will fit you.
it's possible.
So
We
we
lost Tom, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, his internet just went out. He's trying to fix it, and
Okay.
Yeah, he was having difficulties earlier.
Okay.
he might be joining us. He might not if he can't get the internet back up and running.
Well, we'll just continue and fill him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
assume
filling
he's
him in.
with
Don't
us.
worry.
Yeah, but I mean, long story short, we're pretty much at least me, pretty much keeping my eye out on everybody. So I have my eye out on the hired help. I have my eye out on somebody who might seem out of place there, just like the last gentleman the last man that we seen. I wouldn't call him a gentleman.
Matilda, you have money, and you've traveled in Europe before, so you've probably been on the Orient Express a couple of times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So a quality that you've noticed about its employees, and it's something kind of maybe generalized, but you know that they're all very well trained. They all speak multiple languages because they have people with multiple languages on the train, but they all tend to be thin people, very thin people, and it's because they take up very little room. And honestly, their accommodations on the train are not like yours. They're bunking together, probably four in a cabin, and it's little. This guy would stand out like a sore thumb. Okay, that's just an assessment you would make because he's big and he's strong.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not short, he's not tall, but he's short and he's stocky.
Stocky, okay.
So he would stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, but that's that one particular man. But I mean, we're also assuming that he's not alone. We're also assuming, Yeah.
Okay. So would you like to do anything more before you board the train, or you're going to wait nearby?
Yeah, and I'm just being extremely cautious.
Okay. You probably go up and present your tickets and tell them that you're going to sit at the cafe, and you probably notice at a certain point luggage being loaded and stuff like that, and you might even recognize your own luggage being loaded. You're told which cabins you're going to be in. You are going to be in. Perhaps you even go on board the train and see your cabins.
Okay.
It's 2-person to a cabin. However, they wouldn't put a woman with a man, so you would have your own cabin. You guys can decide who bunks with who. You're all on train car 1, and it's called it's the Calais car, which is going to be added to the Orient Express, which means that your stuff is here. You can unpack. You're not going to have to transfer trains again.
Okay.
You're going to go all the way to Constantinople on this.
Now, do they use the same sort of like servants on the train, or do they kind of like rotate these guys?
they're all highly trained, so they don't really rotate them.
Okay. So I mean, I might kind of notice some people that I've seen before in the past.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. And if I do, hey, how are you? How's the family? Yada yada.
Right.
That sort of thing. I come off as, although I'm wealthy, I come off as not being sort of stuck up or anything like that. Sort of a people's person type of a thing. And
Well, you also realize they have a job to do, and they do it very efficiently, so they don't really have time to sit around and chat. But
oh yeah. But I mean, like I've like somebody who might have served me previously, I might say, oh yeah.
perhaps the chef, perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. So
People who are the higher ups you might recognize.
but I'm keeping my eye out for new higher ups as well.
Right.
So if I do happen to see somebody new, I'll pull somebody that I do know aside and say, do you know that gentleman or that that young lady or whoever, that sort of thing.
Okay. So, you guys are sitting at the cafe, and you've got about 20 minutes before you have to get on board. And you guys are you're sipping coffee. It's kind of late because the train is going to leave. No, that's not correct. Let's see. The train is going to leave.
You said about 10:30 p.m.
It attaches to. It arrives in Chalon-sur-Marne at 10:26.
Okay.
So I would say you probably have. And that's a couple of hour trip.
So it's probably about 7:30-ish.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll say 7:30.
Okay.
As you're there, and you've got your eyes open, you notice, coming from an alley or so and walking up the dock to get on board the train, is that same man.
Okay.
And you see him, show the ticket and everything, and they let him on board. And that's the last of you see that you see of him.
Okay.
Would our tickets have our names on them?
No, probably not. But they probably have clipboards with all your names on them and all of your information, and probably even some of the things that you prefer.
I wonder if we could bribe one of the ticket guys and get him to give us a little information.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Not right now. I mean, I might be a bit suspicious, I guess. I don't know. And the way things work on the Orient Express, the passenger's privacy is probably first and foremost in the employees' minds. So they probably wouldn't divulge any sort of information like that. However, we can definitely keep an eye out on them. I mean, we're heading to Constantinople. But let's see how far he travels as well. I think the next stop is Paris, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, you're not going to Paris.
I know. Well.
The train is coming from Paris to Chalon-sur-Marne, and then it's going on to, I think Stuttgart might be the next.
Okay. What I'll say is this: once we get to Stuttgart, why don't we?
Let me pull this up real quick so that you can see where you're going.
And my character would probably know this, but I don't. I'm not sure. What language would they speak in Constantinople? Is that Persian?
Turkish.
Turkish,
Greek.
Well, wouldn't they also speak Italian as well?
Constantinople, not typically.
Okay.
Okay. If you look at the map, up in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see London up there.
Yep.
And Calais. You are following the purple line.
Okay.
So you've gone from Calais to Chalon-sur-Marne,
Okay.
which is.
And that's where we're at.
Can you see it there? Yeah.
Yeah, we're currently there. Okay.
And so you're going on the purple line up above. This is um, the original Orient Express.
Okay.
All the other lines represent different periods of time where
Okay.
the thing went. Okay.
So, what I'm suggesting is that when we get to Strasbourg, we disembark. How long will the train stay there? That's the other question.
In Strasbourg, it's probably any of your stops are only going to be for loading and unloading people, so no more than 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, your next stop is Strasbourg. Strasbourg. You'll probably have to show your passports and everything there.
What I can do is when we get there, I can disembark, and let's say all of us disembark. If I happen to see the gentleman get off the train as well, what I'll do is I'll walk, as if I'm going into this particular city, to see if he follows, and then I'll try to lose him and circle back to the train and see if he's actually following us. I think he is. It's my hunch, but if he's following us, then he might try to follow one of us. And
you're thinking to lose him?
Hmm?
You're thinking to lose him in Stuttgart?
Yeah.
Well, realize that if he has a ticket to the train, he's going to be on the train.
Hmm.
He purchased a ticket to the train.
You're right.
So he's not gonna get lost and not get back on the train.
Well, the other idea is that if he's actually following us, then I can actually confirm it.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're trying. We'll see how things play out.
Okay.
Okay. So you are getting on board the train now. It's I'm sorry. You're getting on board the train.
Yeah.
And the train's getting ready to leave for Chalon-sur-Marne. You'll probably have, if you didn't already have dinner, you'll probably have dinner on the train. What would now you're going to Chalon-sur-Marne. So what do you want to do anything while you're on board the train?
I say that we relax. We don't talk about business. We'll talk about something casual. And like I said, keep our eyes open. Right now, we're sort of in, I'm not going to say defensive mode, but we're looking out for any potential spies or anything like that, and see if anybody is actually listening in on our conversations.
Okay.
So like, we're basically acting like regular travelers, basically. Or at least that's what I want to present to the group.
Where is our hat? Are we carrying it with us, or is it in our storage? Or
yeah, I would say that the hat would be.
It's probably in one of your rooms.
Yeah, I would leave it with the men, because the box itself looks something similar to what a woman would carry. I mean, men they would wear top hats. They never really kept the hats in a box or anything like that. They would probably hang them up. Women are the ones who have large decorative boxes. So if this guy is like actually looking for something like that, he would potentially start with my room. I mean, at least that's what I'm thinking.
Now let me for a moment describe this train that you're on. Now, part of the train travels between Calais and Chalon-sur-Marne, and it's nice, but it's not the Orient Express. However, your car is that you guys are staying in, and so it's very fancy. The Orient Express at this period in time is composed, other than the ironworks below, It's all wood. It's beautiful, polished wood and hand-carved railings on things, and it's very, very, very beautiful. It's all lit by what appears at first to be gaslight, but it's not. It's not acetylene, which is what normal gaslight is. In this case, it's something called pinch light, and it's a much more stable substance, so that if the train were to crash or if there were a fire, it wouldn't turn into a gigantic bomb, which it would if it were acetylene. In each of your rooms, there's a little key on the wall. It's something that you theoretically can remove, but normally nobody removes it. It's not like a lock and key. It's like the key that you wind a clock with.
Okay.
So it's the same one would fit in any one of them, but people don't normally take them out. You turn this thing, and it turns up the pinch light or down the pinch light, and it won't turn the pinch light off, because if it turns it off, then you have to relight it.
Okay.
And nobody wants to do that. When it turns down, which most people do at night, and they do it throughout the train at night to conserve the gas, everything turns blue. It's a dark, sort of bluish light that fills the train at nighttime when people want to sleep. So you can see. You're never in the dark. You never would stumble in the dark because it's never that dark. But it's definitely more restful than a bright white light, which is what it is.
It's kind of like a propane type of blue.
Yeah, there's really nothing. Yeah, it's kind of a propane blue.
Okay.
Very, very eerie, actually.
Sounds neat.
Yeah.
It would be more eerie if it was green light than blue. But
yeah, that would be creepy. Even creepier if it was red light.
Well, red light signifies something else.
Many people find it very restful.
Okay.
But that being said, you're now traveling towards Chalon-sur-Marne, and in the couple of hours or so that it takes you to get there, you don't see that guy again. Now, do you guys hang in your cabins? Do you go? There's kind of a lounge area you can go and sit.
Yeah, I will extend my an invitation to Nicholas, Professor Weiss here. If, for an example, if you can't sleep for some odd reason and you want to happen to stumble into my cabin, you're more than welcome.
I knew it.
I have a married man, sir. Milady. I don't even know what accent I'm doing anymore.
Your last name is pronounced Weiss.
Yes. My name is Nicholas, not Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Oh,
Nicholas.
I see. It's Nicholas. I spelled it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nicholas.
But I get motion sickness, so I'm mostly just going to be in my cabin.
Okay.
Well, the invitation stays. If you happen to need someone to talk to in the middle of the night, my cabin door is always open to you, Professor.
Danke, Fräulein.
Want to talk about mathematics and astronomy and all the likes. You know, you have an open ear here in the middle of the night.
Thank you, Fräulein.
So your train arrives in Chalon-sur-Marne probably about 9 o'clock, and there's going to be a process where they disattach your car and a few other cars from this train, and they attach it to the Orient Express. So that process takes about an hour and a half, and you're going to be leaving at 10:30. Do you want to do anything in between? I'm always going to ask you that because it's an hour and a half.
Well, by this time, I mean it's late at night, and I would imagine that I would be in my cabin, getting a bit of rest, reading, just hoping that I get a knock on the door.
Well, you won't get you will get some rest, but that car that you're in is going to be banging around because they're going to be, of course,
Well, I
attachments
mean,
in
what
the
I mean by
trains.
this is like I'm by myself in my
Okay.
my cabin, and I'll be writing in a journal, also sort of documenting our travels, talking about the suspicious man and things like that. So some of this stuff finds itself in Smythe's journal as well. So
Okay. So, anything else, guys? Before I just say it's 10:30 and the train's leaving.
I think I'm curious about the guy following us. I'm gonna wander the train and see if I can locate his room.
Okay. I don't know
Or,
how you would know that, but
well, yeah.
I mean,
Like, are the rooms sealed in? Is that like there's no windows into the rooms? I guess
correct. They're sleeping cars, so
sleeping cars.
um,
And is it just
there's
we're on
about
one car?
no, there's a number of them, and there's I'd say about 10 cabins in a car. So around 20 cabins is probably being transferred.
Is there a like a lounge car, like where everybody would congregate?
Yes, yes.
So
And
maybe
in
I'll do
fact,
that.
once you get well, you're in Chalon-sur-Marne. Yeah, now you would be going into the lounge car on the Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
So
So maybe I'll do that. Is I'll kind of sit in the lounge car, see if I see him come in, like which direction he came from. Like, is he behind us? Is he in front of us?
okay. The process here, because of the train transfers, you would have actually gotten off the train and then walked over and then gotten back on the train because at the moment they're two separate trains and now they're going to be merged and you don't have to sit in your cabin while they're doing that.
Okay.
Um, Dr. Weiss, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna be in my room trying not to.
Okay, so two of you are in your rooms, and uh, Marcus, you are heading over to the other train. Okay. When you get on the train, there are, they make sure that you're supposed to be there. They check your tickets and everything. Um, they also, you kind of have to get on with other customers, with other passengers that are also getting on. So you end up having your passport checked again as you're getting on. Uh, you notice a number of wealthy-looking aristocrats that are in line getting on as well. Um, uh, and you get on the train. Um, the one of the men that's standing there uh, is the chef de train, the head of the trains, and he greets you and tells you that if there's anything that you need, please ask any of the employees. They'll be happy to help you with anything that you might need. He explains that the lounge car is just a few train cars down, and make yourself at home and enjoy your trip. And if you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask for him if you'd like to. His name is Henry Peters.
Henry.
Henry Peters.
Oh boy.
Is it R. Henry?
Well, that's probably what your
Thinking
other
that-
character
yeah.
asks.
I'm thinking it is, which means that this train doesn't end well.
You can say that the journal describes him as a tall, thin man with long black hair and rather handsome features.
Okay.
Impeccably dressed. Absolutely, every line and button is perfect on him. So,
wish we had an artist with us that could actually draw an actual picture of this guy. That'd be really interesting. But anyway, let's continue.
Well, Monsieur Henry Peters from the Dreamlands has told you that he was the chef de train on the Orient Express, and this is 30 years previous. So,
yeah, but it would be nice to bring something like that, like maybe a formal, former picture or drawn up of him, just to give it to him as a gift or something like that. I don't know, something that we find in this journal that we can just say, hey, we found,
Yep, unfortunately, there's nobody decided to sketch the guy who's in charge of the train. But all right, so Jeff's character, Marcus, you end up going to the lounge, and there are a number of people in the lounge. A couple of gentlemen. One of them dressed very much like some sort of a dignitary. He's got medals. Looks like he's military of some sort, though not English. His stuff looks foreign, perhaps Russian or something from the Balkan states. There's a few men like that, and one obviously is either an assistant or a bodyguard, big man, big strong-looking man.
Is he wearing furs?
What's that?
I said, is he wearing furs?
No, because it's not particularly hot. I mean, not particularly cold. So,
his name isn't. What is his name from
Nicholas?
Express?
No.
Or I think that was his name, Plovikosh or something.
Karakov.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyways,
that would really be interesting.
there's also a woman, and she dresses rather smartly, but kind of in a masculine sort of way, similar to the way Matilda dresses when she's in a particularly masculine. And she's not sitting conventionally. She's at a side bench. There's a little table there, where she's got a drink on it, but she's got her knees pulled up, so she's sitting comfortably, kind of like a person would sit when they're sitting in bed. Okay. And she's got a little journal in her hand, and she's writing away furiously, and she seems very much engrossed. She's got glasses on. She's a rather good-looking woman, but looks very intense. And other than that, you take a table and anything that you want, they bring you drinks. You do not see the man that you've seen now.
Okay.
Okay. Time goes by, and the trains are connected. And before it hits 10:30, what do you guys want to do? Anything?
I'm still in my my cabin. Like I said, just writing.
Okay. Dr. Weiss, anything? You're still in your cabin?
I'm still in my cabin.
Okay. And
invitation, man.
So let's jump back then to Marcus, and just say that. Let's see. Who do we have? All this time, that woman has been writing away. The man in the military sort of garb conducts himself in a very aristocratic sort of way. He occasionally gives a request or an order to the guy who's standing nearby, and he goes and gets him a drink or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, nothing much happens unless you want to do something.
What's the timing on this again? So at 10:30.
10:30, the train's going to leave, and it's about to leave.
Is she sitting like in a booth?
Yeah, it's kind of a booth, but imagine that she's not sitting with her feet on the floor. She's got her feet on the seat, and she's sitting sideways, mainly so that she can sit right underneath the pinch light and write something. She's writing, and you see her writing, and then you'll see her use her eraser and erase what she's writing. She's using a pencil. And
would I be wearing like one of those priest collars, or is that like?
No, you're not. You're not a member of the clergy yet.
Okay. Is there a seat next to her that's empty?
There's one. Yeah, there's one directly across with a table in between.
Okay. So maybe I'll get up and I'll approach her and I'll say, "Do you mind any company?"
She's like, "Oh, hello. No, make yourself at home."
Thank you. It's a long trip. I just thought it'd be better to. I mean, unless you're busy, I see that you're writing. I don't want to disturb you.
Oh. She says, "Yes, I'm just working on an article." And she, hold on just a second. She says, I'm looking for her name. Where's her name? I had it right here in front of me. Oh, she holds out her hand like a man would, and she says, "Eileen McGregor."
Eileen, pleasure to meet you. My name is Marcus Resden.
She says, "Well, Marcus Resden, where are you traveling to?"
Long term, we're headed to Constantinople.
Oh. She says, I'm also heading there. She says, I write for the Women's Herald, and I'm writing an article on the current situation with the Armenians that's going on in Constantinople. Are you aware of what's going on?
I admit I am not.
Well, the Armenians are Christians, like us, and they're being rather harshly persecuted by the people in Constantinople because, of course, they're Muslims. And there is a lot of animosity going on right there. The Armenians want to break away from the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottomans don't want them to do that. So I think it's all going to end in bloodshed.
Wow, I hope it doesn't get that far, but I can understand that.
She says also the women there are treated very badly.
By the Muslims, you mean, or just in general?
Well, in the Ottoman Empire, women are not really considered full citizens. It's the same problem that we had a few years ago in England and in the colonies,
Mm-hmm.
that women don't have any say-so in things. So that should change.
The Women's Herald? That's a newspaper or a magazine?
Yes, it's a magazine.
Nice. Large distribution?
I'm sorry?
Large distribution? Or?
It's got a fairly large distribution in London, but I'm actually from the United States.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I've been living in London, though, now for almost 10 years. I studied journalism at London University. I'd say all I really know is Cambridge and Oxford, but not everybody goes to Cambridge and Oxford. So, what? You're traveling to Constantinople. What are you up to? What are you going there for? Just vacation?
Yeah, just some friends and I. kind of a ragtag group. We're headed there.
Well, I hear it's a beautiful city.
Have you been there before?
No, I haven't. But if you study your history, you know it was actually constructed as a garden city, the new Roman Empire. So the Romans never did anything small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've read history, but it's interesting to see it all firsthand.
Yeah, most of us Westerners don't know much about the Eastern history.
Mm-hmm.
So she sits there and she chit-chats with you a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you live in London?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. Do you have any questions for her? Or
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't think I was just making small talk.
Most of it's just going to be small talk.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll say the train starts, and it's heading out, and you have a choice of whether you want to do anything or you are now officially on the Orient Express, and your next stop is Stuttgart, which you get to, I believe, around 3-something in the morning. Schlossermann. There's a lot of notes for this. Stuttgart, you will be getting to no. Am I saying Stuttgart? I think I mean Strasbourg. Strasbourg?
Strasbourg is 2 stops before Stuttgart.
Yes, you're going to Strasbourg. Sorry, you are going to Stuttgart, but not yet. You arrive in Strasbourg at 3:43 a.m. So you probably won't do anything until you go to bed. You'll be going to bed long before that.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you like to go? Is that what you end up doing, going to bed?
Yeah, I think like around 11:30.
Okay.
I'll just, pleased to meet you. I hope we can meet up again. And
Yes, it was wonderful meeting you. She seems like a lovely woman, although very intense. She's got that reporter sort of energy.
Mm-hmm.
As you're going, go ahead and no, you don't really have to. There's not much spot hidden. As you are heading towards your room, you do notice a woman dressed rather nicely. You notice her. You're pretty sure she just left that cabin up ahead, and she's gone 1 or 2 cabins down and gone in. And that's not that unusual, except that it's past 11 o'clock at night.
Was it Matilda?
No, it wasn't Matilda. That wouldn't have surprised you at all.
Exactly.
Okay, so around 11:30, getting close to midnight, you notice that the pinch lights are all getting turned down by the train staff so that they're not wasting the gas. But you've gotten to your cabin, and you've probably all getting ready and fallen asleep by now. So we'll assume you're all asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody do a listen roll.
I I do not make it.
Missed it by 2.
Passed with a hard success.
Ooh, okay. So the other two are asleep, and
Fast asleep too.
let's decide something really quick, because who's in whose cabin? Let's assume one of you is going. Matilda, you're by yourself.
Yes,
One of you is going to be by yourself, and the other two are going to be bunking together. So
it didn't have to be this way, Professor Weiss. It didn't have to be this way.
Except for Mrs. Weiss.
yeah.
Well, Mrs. Weiss isn't here. I'm here now.
No, it's not. No. That's a hard no.
The handsome ones are always taken.
So your rooms are next to one another. We'll say room 1 and room 2, and actually room 3, because Matilda is in her own room.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just decide really quick who's in what room. We'll let Matilda go first, since she probably got to pick which room she wanted, 1, 2, or 3. So if you're in 2, you're in between the two other guys.
Yeah, that sounds the best.
So Matilda is here. And then, are you two sleeping in the same room, or are you? Is one of you sleeping with Eldridge? No, sorry, Leopold.
Unless you have a preference, Riley, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Why don't, since Leopold isn't here, let's say that you and I are sleeping in the same room.
Sure,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay, one or 3. Just you can make it right
3.
if you want. Okay. That means that room 1 is closer to the front of the train. Room 2 is closer to the back of the train. So, you guys are in 3. Marcus and Nicholas. And then Leopold is in the front. Leo. Okay. Everybody's sound asleep, and except that Marcus, you're kind of restless. And you think that you can hear somebody moving in the hallway outside. And it's weird because you don't hear. You've got a number of noises going on. You've got the train noises.
Which I guess would be loud, right?
Yeah, but once you sort of get in the rhythm of it, it sort of goes off into the background. You don't really pay that close of attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that loud. It's not as loud as you would think.
Okay.
If you open up the window, it's louder. It's much louder. If you're crossing from one car to the next and you're in that little space in between, it's louder there. But it's not that sound. The train, as I said, most of everything is made out of wood. So you expect when people walk by to hear clump, 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 clump of their feet. You don't hear that, but you really get the distinct feeling that somebody is walking by outside your cabin, and you think maybe the door wiggles a little bit. There are locks on the door, but I should explain that the doors don't open this way, they open this way. Okay. So there's a lock that latches the two little panels together, or maybe there's just one door and there's a panel, there's a hook. But a steward or somebody on the train can open it from the outside. They have a key, but on the inside you've got a little switch thing to lock it. So you know your door is locked, but something vibrates the door, and it doesn't sound like somebody's trying to get in, but it definitely sounds like there's you get the weird feeling that somebody's out there.
Is there enough light that I would see a shadow like underneath the door?
No.
Okay.
That's one thing there's not much of. Well, Actually, almost everything is shadow, so... But there's not any bright lights. The lights in the hallway are the same as the lights in your room. They're blue.
They're turned down too. Okay. Um, would I be worried that he could open the lock easily?
That's kind of relative. A strong person, if they grabbed a hold of that door and yanked it really hard, would pop the lock.
Okay.
Nobody expects there to be a security issue like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
All security.
The whole locks are for honest people.
Right. And actually, in this case, the locks are more for privacy. You don't want somebody walking in on you.
Mm-hmm.
But rich people don't steal, so you know,
Mm-hmm.
the very concept that one of the staff, you know, that's just they've been too heavily screened.
So I'll sit up, raise up on my elbow, and just kind of listen intently to figure out is he still trying to get in, or did he just like jiggle it, like maybe he just bumped it as he walked past, or
The more you sit there and concentrate, that sort of doubt that you heard anything at all creeps in, but you also think maybe you can hear heavy breathing. But that might just be Vice. You know. Or maybe you're hearing noises from another cabin or something. But the more you're sitting there, the more unnerving it becomes. And the blue light bothers. It doesn't bother you, but it's creepy. And
so with that, I will reach down and grab my shoe and throw it at Nicholas.
well, he's underneath you. I mean, you guys are in bunks.
Oh, we're bunks beds.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I didn't ask who's sleeping above and who's sleeping below.
That's fine. I probably would take the bottom just to be like, yeah, just in case I need to like evacuate very quickly.
So
Then
are you aiming for his face or?
Yeah, rude.
Maybe so. If I'm on a top bunk, my shoes would be on the floor probably. So I would probably I'll grab my pillow. I'll throw my pillow out.
Thank you.
Okay. So you hit Vice with your pillow and he wakes up.
Yeah, fast.
I think there's somebody trying to get in. Somebody's wiggling at the door outside. And I'll say it in a whisper.
Yeah. Do you want me to check the door? Or?
Yeah, we could both get up and throw the door open and maybe surprise them.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I'll dig around and I'll try to find my blackjack.
Okay. Are you all trying to be quiet?
Yes.
Yeah, stealthy as possible.
Do a stealth roll.
Uh-oh.
I almost rolled the wrong dice. Oh yeah, that's a critical. That was an 05.
Okay.
You guys
Drop
don't
my-
even know that exist.
I dropped my blackjack on the floor.
Okay. You drop your blackjack on the floor, and it makes a little bit of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Vice got a critical, so he doesn't yell, "Idiot!"
I just give you a very pointed look. I'm like, really?
Anyways, you hear no reaction at all from outside the door.
Do we still hear the breathing?
You're not sure. You don't know if you're hearing the sound of the train or something. You're it's one of those things where you might just be fooling yourself And that's what you keep thinking to yourself. I'm going to make an idiot out of myself because I'm just imagining something's there. But you can't get over the fact that you keep imagining that something's there.
If it's Matilda, I'm going to be pissed at her. All right, what are you armed with, Professor?
I have a pistol somewhere, probably in my suitcase.
Are you arming it, or are you just...
I figure I'll just go fisticuffs.
Okay. So I'll put my hand on the door, and I'll go like 3, 2, 1, and then I'll slide the door open.
Okay. You slide it open with a bang?
Actually, I guess I have to unlock it first. So I'd unlock it and then quickly, yeah.
Okay. So you slide it open. What you see is the hallway. Now, actually, you're inside. Do you stick your head out? Do you look around?
Oh, okay. So we don't
Yeah.
see anybody.
No, there's nothing there except that everything is, that sort of deep blue. There doesn't seem to be anything on the carpet outside the door.
Yeah, I'll stick my head out.
Okay. The hallway is basically a long hallway, and there's doors going into rooms. So there's not like furniture anywhere in the hallway. But it does seem to you that some of the bench lights are a little dimmer, and that there are shadows here and there. And you almost think that at the end of the hallway, is there somebody kind of with a cloak over them, like a cape, a black cape, because there's a shadow that you can't seem to explain quite from what you're seeing. You should just be able to see the blue light and the hallway, but there's a dark shadow there going towards the front of the train. And you think maybe your eyes, it's not moving. You think maybe your eyes are playing tricks on you. You'd have to actually move around to see if there's anything there. And you're both seeing this.
How close to Leopold's cabin?
It's actually probably right around Leopold's cabin. It's past Matilda's cabin.
And we can't tell if it's facing us or facing away.
It's just it's even all over. It's just darkness.
Just a dark shadow. And it's not moving?
It doesn't seem to be. I mean, any more than the train is wobbling a little back and forth, but...
You, sir. Who goes there?
Okay. When you do that, you swear that the shape of the shadow sort of changes. It seems to suddenly flow along the wall, and you're not sure that there's light coming from some source out of the train that's going through a window and somehow casting this shadow, until you see what look like a pair of glowing eyes in the middle of the shadow, which are there for a moment and then they're gone, and the shadow seems to move away from you down the hallway, and you can't believe what you just saw. And you can do a sanity roll. You might just yell out when you see this.
I just made it.
I did well. I got a 14.
Okay. Well, you both visibly jump. You don't lose any sanity, but you're startled by you. In fact, Vice, you sort of grab a hold of Marcus, and you're like, "What the fuck was that? Did we just see something?"
Did you see that too?
Yes, apparently so.
So did it just fade away? Did it appear to go through the door?
It seemed to run down the hallway. You'd almost swear it was something there, except that it didn't have the qualities of a solid object. It was like a shadow. You could actually at moments see part of the furniture or part of the furnishings of the train through it as it moved away, but it definitely moved along the floor and along the walls like a shadow. And it did, you swear to God that it looked at you with glowing eyes for a moment there.
Is there a pinch light near me?
Yeah, they're in the ceiling, right in the center, like, overhead lights.
So I'll just reach up and I'll see if I could turn up the light.
Turn up the light?
Yeah.
The keys are on the wall to turn them up.
Oh, right, okay. I thought that was for our individual cabin.
No, that's the way they work everywhere.
Okay. So yeah, I'll grab the key and try and turn the light up.
It's probably at the end of the car.
Okay.
Neither one of you yelled out, although why and you probably jumped a foot off the ground when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say you reach the pinch light and you turn it up. Okay, so now the room is as it is during the evening. It's kind of bright.
The shadow's still there, or
nope?
Okay,
it's disappeared down the. It's gone. It doesn't seem to be there anymore.
I'm gonna be dumb and run after it.
Okay.
I'll follow.
All right. So, the next room would be the lounge, and when you get to the lounge is once again dark. Okay. I guess you're making the normal sounds that you would make if you were running. So, when you get to the lounge, once again, the lounge is dark, but it's the pinch light blue. You don't really see anything, but down at the other end, you can see that there's like a little door, and from that door, somebody has their pinch light on. So you think that's like where, like the offices for some of the staff are. There's usually one of these in every train except the sleeper cars, where there's a place where they have supplies and they can get stuff and so forth.
Like a man, like would somebody be in there?
It's possible, maybe one of the staff.
But I mean, would the staff normally be there, like a station?
Maybe.
Okay.
In case somebody needs something in the middle of the night.
Yeah. But no unusual shadows or red eyes?
Not that you can see, no.
Are there any other entrance, or I'm guessing there's an entrance on the other side of the car?
To get on the train? Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is an entrance at each end of each car.
Okay.
And normally they're blocked. They're blocked by a little curtain so that you don't fall off the train.
Okay. So I'll turn to Marcus and be like, do you have any ideas where he might have went?
No, I'm not even sure if I saw what I saw. If it weren't for you, I'd be questioning my own sanity.
Yeah. Maybe we should just go sleep it off.
Yeah, you might be right.
Then I'll head back to the room after not seeing anything.
Okay, well, what happens is you both get a little bit of a fright again because you're both staring there in that direction. And just about the moment that you decide to turn around and go back, a man steps up to where he was coming up behind you. He steps up to where you are and he says, "Gentlemen, is there anything I can help you with?"
And again, I jump like 10 feet in the air because
Yeah, I'll jump to and make a half harder to swing.
Oh, I'm so sorry, monsieur. I did not mean to startle you.
Don't sneak up on somebody in the dark.
Is everything okay, monsieur?
Is that Henry?
Yes, it's Henry.
I think it's okay. I don't. Maybe it's just it's late where I can't sleep well, but I thought somebody was trying to gain access into our cabin.
Oh, that is very serious, monsieur. I will make a report of it so that we shall make sure to keep an eye out. I don't believe there are any thieves on board our train, but
And actually, I'll use this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I just imagine anything is possible, but
Yeah, and I'll use this opportunity then to tell them that that we're a little bit paranoid and we think we might be being followed by a short, stocky man. I would just ask you if you would be kind enough to keep an eye out for us, that if you see anybody acting suspicious around our cabins, to alert us or to alert the authorities.
oui, monsieur. A short, stocky man? Yes, oui, monsieur. I will keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
if
sure
we
it was
find him,
nothing.
we will throw him off the train.
I'm sure it was nothing.
Well, can I get you anything? Some tea? You said you were restless. Perhaps some chamomile?
Thank you, but I'll just head back.
Oui, monsieur. If you need anything, please do not hesitate to call. Henry will take care of it.
Thank you, Henry. I feel like we've met before.
Oui, monsieur. Have we?
I don't think so, but I feel like we know each other.
Perhaps somebody in the future knows me.
And just as I'm about to enter back into my cabin, I'll lightly knock on Matilda's door.
Okay. Matilda, you're sleepy. You're asleep, but what do you do? And you hear him knock.
And I go straight into the room. I don't linger. not Matilda's room, my own room.
So like, she went to bed kind of frustrated. She's like, what type of signals do I need to send this man? Jeez.
He's knocking at your door.
And then like she gets a knock at the door, and she's like wakes up, and she's like, oh, finally. So she goes to the door.
Well, in that short time too, I will also.
Before she does, she kind of goes to the little water basin. She kind of freshens up a little bit. She's like straightens herself up, her nightgown. She's like, yeah. She opens up the door, and she acts like, she was sleeping. Yes, how can I help you? And she sees Marcus. She looks out the door, and she looks up the hall and sees if Weiss is with him, and she's like, oh, what is the matter? What's wrong? What's going on? I was fast asleep. Oh, dear me.
Quick question. Where is the Fez? Whose room?
I would say it's either with Marcus and Weiss or with Leopold.
Oh, yeah, you said the men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Probably Leopold, because he seems to be the one that has...
He's the soldier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can handle himself. He's proven.
I'm just going to say that at this point, even though he's not here, Leopold opens up his door and sticks his nose out. He hears Marcus and he hears Matilda. And he's just like, what are you people doing out here making so much noise?
Marcus? Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just explain real quick. I'm sorry to wake you guys, but I just had an experience, and it can wait till morning, but I just wanted to let you know.
All right.
And Leopold says, well, try to keep it down. I mean, it's bad enough being here with this whispering thing.
Whispering thing? What are you talking about?
The Fez, it whispers all night long.
Anything coherent?
Nope, just Sounds like somebody's off in the distance whispering.
Which we knew that, right? Because Smythe told us that. Yeah.
Well, whatever you
So,
do,
I think one of you are going to sleep with it tomorrow night.
whatever you do, do not put it on.
Yeah, no. Jeez, it's whispering. I think I'll try it on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it may be whispering now, but it might have some sort of powers of suggestion as well. So we don't know of what it is. So
True.
I'm just telling you, if you're starting to feel like you want to put it on, let us know immediately, and we'll switch it up.
Okay. Well, he says he has no intention of putting it on. But...
Okay.
Okay, so
I'll go back to bed, disappointed again. Thanks, Dr. Weiss.
You all make it. I'm sorry.
I'll basically now I'll go to bed and I'll have my pistol loaded basically, and I'll have it by my bed.
Okay. You all make it back to bed, and there are no more incidents that night, but you don't sleep very well, and well, no incidents. You do think that maybe you keep hearing something walking up and down the hall, but not footprints, and it might be your imagination running wild with you, but you can't get it out of your head that something creepy is happening. And I think that's where we'll leave it for next week.
All right.
Nice. Now, you do know that was my original intent, was just to mess with Matilda, right?
Sure. Yeah. Why be afraid all by yourself when you can make people afraid?
Exactly.
That's the way I always feel about it. Okay, well, thanks to all of our investigators for their participation. Thanks to all of our viewers for watching. And we hope you enjoyed our game session. Sorry, Tom, I guess your internet went out. We'll see you next week. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you liked our show, please give us a thumbs up. It really does help us. Tune in next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next episode of Horror on the Orient Express. Until next time, always remember, if there's no light left to guide your path, your only choice is to venture into the darkness. Good night. Good gaming.